But you might be asking, Tobias, why are you in Kotzebue, Alaska? Hello, I'm Tobias Brown, and tonight is definitely ranking in the top 10 worst nights of my life. Easy. Maybe top like 5. Might be pushing it. I don't know if that's rough nights. But anyways, so I am currently here. Let me flip it. At the airport. You know, the airport's like open. You can go inside. You know, if you have to wait for a flight, you can take a nap. It's not open here. Kotzebue, Alaska. Small town in Alaska that sucks. That's unfair, but I'm not liking it here. Anyways, yeah, the airport's not open, so. But you might be asking, Tobias, why are you in Kotzebue, Alaska? Well, let me tell ya. I'm in Kotzebue, Alaska right now because my girlfriend grew up here, right? And yeah, so I was like, I love my girlfriend. I love to travel. I'll go see her. You know, I'll go be with her for a couple weeks. It'll be great. Only lasted a week, so I'm here like with her family, right? And her dad is like a stout Christian man who you know, that's like, there's no other definition. He's hard. He likes to work hard. Yeah, and he doesn't approve of me at all in general, because right, I used to be Christian, right? I'm not anymore, and you get a lot of crap for not being a Christian, actually. Well, at least, you know, from my family. They still love me. We're still good. We're great. But obviously, going from Christianity to not being Christian, a lot of things change in your mindset. And one of those things is that, like my moral foundation is drastically different. We disagreed on some heavy moral topics, which automatically makes him, because I'm at his house, right? And so he's head of the house, and I respect that. So anyways, my girlfriend and I had a decent fight today as well. Stop it all. Well, yeah. But ultimately we got through it. I don't know, we're okay, I guess, but I'm not totally sure. But either way, so we had this fight, which sucked. And after the fight, she started feeling like really sick, right? She's taking some medication, some antibiotics for some bug bites, because she gets pretty bad reactions to bug bites sometimes. It's kind of crazy. I'm like, what? Either way. And so she got some bug bites and took pills for them, took antibiotics. And so then she starts feeling like really like headache, and it's just like chills and hot and all that stuff. So she's feeling like really sick, and she like is like, I might throw up, right? And so she comes over to me and she's just like, hold me, just stay with me. So I'm like, okay, all right. And so I'm holding her. She's having a really hard time. She got like a wet cold towel on her forehead. And then her dad comes in and is like, what are you doing? And I'm like, dude, she just feels really sick. Like, I'm just trying to be here for her, right? And then she's like really like about to throw up, right? Like she's gonna puke. And so her dad like grabs a basket and like puts it like in front of her, and she ends up like throwing up in the basket, which wasn't totally liquid proof, so it ended up going in my like all over me as well. But like, that's not important, right? Like, she's throwing up, she's having a really bad time, and so I'm just like, crap, I gotta be here for her, I gotta help her out as best as I can. And yeah, so I'm like there, and her dad, like, she throws up in the basket, he goes to the kitchen and grabs like a bowl and puts it in the basket, right? And so, and like, she's like pretty much about to throw up in the bowl, and he looks around, he's like, this room needs cleaned. Okay, like, your daughter's like vomiting, sick, like having a terrible time, and so he starts like picking up the room, right? He picks up the treadmill, right? So he puts the treadmill up, and he starts moving all these clothes around and moving my stuff around, and like really throwing stuff around. It is what it more felt like. I was always like having the worst freaking time of her life, and I'm like, okay, interesting. And he's just like repeats, it's like, yeah, we need to clean this place up. I'm like, I don't think that's important right now. Like, I just don't think that's what, like, I just asked him, like, is that what we should be focusing on right now? Like, I'm trying to hold Zoe, and he just like turns around, totally pissed off, right? And part of me completely understands. Not completely, but part of me understands that his daughter's sick. She's having a really bad time. He's not, like, he's a father, right? He's gonna be protective and not freaking rational, as rational, right? So I kind of understand that. I've seen stuff like that before. And so he kind of snaps at me. He's like, what the crap? Like, pick this up, like, do, like, gets in my face, right? And I forget the exact words, but a lot of it went like, okay, pick all this crap up, do it now, pick your stuff up. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I start like picking stuff up, and Zoe's like puking in a bowl, and he just keeps going a little bit, you know. He's like, and so he brings up like some moral issues that we had a moral discussion about, right? It's like, and then he called me, he's like, you said this, so that, like, you're sick. And I'm like, what? This is from like another night, like, this is totally like out of the blue. Like, I understand like why it could upset you, but once again, not the most important thing right now. And so he's like, you're sick? And I'm like, okay, did you want me to lie? Like, should I have just lied to you? And he's like, no. I just want you to be a man. And it's picking, like, or by the way, at this time, he's gone to the kitchen, picked up a bunch of cleaning supplies, right? Because some of the vomit got on the floor. And I think Zoe at this time was, like, in the bathroom, right? But yeah, so he's got, like, he's scrubbing the vomit on the floor. It's like, okay, sure, scrub the vomit on the floor. Like, do that, but why right now? I never understand why people rush to like clean up a mess, like, especially since she's like, she needed to go to the hospital. Honestly, she was not in good shape. Either way, he did all that crap, right? So I'm picking stuff up, and he starts like throwing stuff out into the hallway. I'm like, okay. And then comes back to the hallway, he's like, you know, I think it's about time you bought a plane ticket and went home. And I was like, I think it is too. And then he's like, okay, get on your phone and do it right now. Granted, I don't have the cash to change a 7-day flight like immediately, right? So I have to transfer money over, right? And I have to I have to go through a process to do that, right? So I can't just get on the phone and do that. But he's just like, get on the phone and do it right now. I'm like, this is not the most freaking important. It's not. I don't understand why he wouldn't just care for Zoe instead of cleaning up a freaking mess on the floor. Like, that's not even important. So, what ended up happening was, like, yeah, right, I agree. And then he's like, I don't ever want you in this room with my daughter again. I'm like, okay, I respect that. Like, it's your room, it's your house. I won't do that. And he also mentioned, so I accidentally ran the treadmill, right? But it was rubbing against a metal chair. And I didn't notice it, and it caused a bit of like a bit of a tear, like a white line, like essentially like goes throughout the entire treadmill, like it burned it off. And he's like, yeah, and I'm gonna be sending you a bill for the belt. Once again, I totally respect that. Like, I admit I messed up. I broke it works, but like I ruined a piece of your equipment. I'm completely responsible for that. I'll pay for it. Can we talk about this in like 5 fucking hours when Zoe's okay? Would that be all right? Can we do that instead of talking about it right now? Either way. And then he's like, okay, you got 10 minutes to pick up all the crap in that room that's yours. And I'm like, okay. All right. Like, and so I picked it all up, got all my stuff, put it in all the bags. And then like her mom was like also asking like, oh my gosh, is there vomit on the bed? And Zoe's like in the freaking bathroom, like puking, having a terrible time. She's like, is there vomit on the bed? I didn't think there was. I went and checked, like, oh yeah, I guess there is vomit on the bed. She's like, okay. And then we like took off the sheets to clean the sheets. I'm like, right, that's fair. I guess, like, whatever. And he was like, okay, you can go sleep out in like a trailer that is being worked on, or you can get a hotel. You can't sleep here tonight. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then I got all my stuff ready, and I was like, okay, I still want to say goodbye to Zoe. I want to make sure she's okay. I want to say goodbye. So I go up, knock on the like bathroom door. He opens the door. He's like, you can talk to her tomorrow. And I'm like, I just want to say goodbye. So he closed the door like almost immediately. Reopens the door. He says, you can talk to her tomorrow. And I was like, and I said I wanted to say goodbye. So it looks at me, freaking points back at the door, which is closed, and he's like, fine, then just say it. He's pissed. He's pissed. Once again, I understand his daughter's sick. I'm not saying I would be completely reasonable in that situation either, but damn. And so I yelled through the door, like, okay, Zoe, goodbye, I'm going to the airport. And then it was like, one of those, like, I just said thank you. And he was like, you're welcome. And so then I left, and I went to the airport. And I got to the airport. Airport's not open. Nope. It's not. Then I secondly went to the hospital. And I just asked the lady at the front if I could borrow her phone. Which I did. And I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, can you borrow, like, lend me $400? I'll pay you back, like, as soon as I get my transfer done, right? And she's like, yes. I'm sorry about everything. Cool. Then the lady's like, I'm still in the conversation with my mom, and she's really worried about Zoe, and so, like, yeah. And the lady comes in to where I was talking, and she's like, could I borrow my phone? Like, I'm expecting a call. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I get off the phone with my mom, give it to her. Ends up, she ordered DoorDash, or not DoorDash. She ordered something for delivery. Which is like, bruh, I'm like crying on the phone with my mom right now. I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm going to a hotel. So I went to try to go to a hotel. Went to first hotel, right? Big old hotel. I had to use a buzzer to get in. Like, I had to, like, buzz the front desk and ask them permission to enter. It's like, what do you want? It's like, I'm here to see if I can rent a room. Like, what? This place is weird. So, yeah, I buzz, get in, Ask him how much it costs. He's like, 300 a night. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking leaving. Like, no. I'm not spending $300 just to have a bed. Like, so anyways. So I'm, but like, I asked, okay, is there any other place I could stay? And he said the Bison, which is on like a street. And I'm like, okay. But he said it very weirdly, like, the Bison? Like there was, like, I might as well sleep on the fucking ground or something. Like, okay, whatever. Just that's dumb. And so I went to the Bison, and the Bison. Well, I found it. I did not find it. I went to the Bison. It's like it's like a little restaurant thing, like mom and pop store. Okay, so I'm like, okay. So I go in, ask for direction on the Bison. Lady says right next door, and she takes a phone call, right? And she's just like, it's right next door. I look outside. There's like an apartment complex, and there's like no sign besides the Bison for the like store, the mini store. And so I'm confused as crap. Like, where is this place? I'm like walking around and trying to find it, and there's nothing there. Really, like, there's no obvious tells of like, oh yes, a place to sleep for the night for guests. No advertising, no nothing. I had no whatever. So I walk around for a bit. I find a little thing that has like a roof, and I like change my clothes. Like, I put on warmer clothes, and then I was like, okay, all right. I know it sucks, but I don't have a lot of money anyways. I should just go to the trailer house. I should just go to the trailer house. Which I've worked on. I helped close up a door because I worked on it for like the past week. And so I was like, all right, I'll just go help. I'll go to the trailer house and sleep. So I go to the trailer house, which is relatively by their house. Keep in mind, so I'm like currently in between mobile networks because my mobile network is charging me way too much. So I need to change that, get a cheaper mobile network that I can find easily, and all that, right? So I need to do that. So I walk out of their house and I like get their internet for a second and find that Zoe texted me and said she was worried about me and where I was. And I texted her back, but she hasn't read it or seen it, I think. But anyways, so like I'm also like keep in mind, I basically have no cell service. Either way. Yeah. Out of the hospital, went to hotel. Hotel had way too expensive. Tried to find the Bison. Couldn't find it. Wandered around. Went back to the trailer. Got to the trailer. Okay? And Zoe's sister has a boyfriend. Okay? And I didn't know that Zoe's sister's boyfriend would be in the trailer that night. Because he said last I heard, he wasn't going to be. So I get in there and I hear like sounds coming in, right? And it's like, oh, okay, I guess someone's here. So I just like call out like, hello, this is Tobias. And then the guy answers, right? And let's just call him John, I guess. And so I go over to the room and he's laying on the only futon in the house, which is like, okay, that's a bummer, like whatever. And then so he's like, oh, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, so I got my 2 backpacks, like boom, bop. I got 2 backpacks. And I'm like, oh, getting kicked out, like a joke, right? Like, it's been a sucky night, so I want to, take a joke. And then you can ask, why did you get that? And then we could have a little bit of a talk, and I'd be like, okay. And then you can sleep over somewhere. I can set up something up for you. No, I just say, getting kicked out. And he just looked at me like, how is that my fucking problem or something, right? Keep in mind, he does not own this house. His sister has taken out a mortgage from her parents to own this house, right? Because her parents bought it outright. Not a great trailer. So anyways, so he's chilling on the only futon there, with his phone plugged in and all that, and I'm like, yeah, well, so I was told I could either sleep here or in a hotel or something. And he was like, oh, you couldn't really find any of the hotels or anything? No idea what that was. He's like, oh, you couldn't really find any of the hotels or anything? And I'm like, no, I found one, but it was like $300, and it was way too much. And he's like, did you try the Bison? I'm like, yeah, I tried to find the Bison, but I couldn't. And then he's like, oh yeah, no, you know the store, and it's like right behind the store and all that stuff, and it'll run you like $80 a night. And I'm like, bruh, it's like already 12 o'clock. Just like, let me sleep on the floor in your house in this trailer. In his mind, though, wasn't even an option. It like wasn't even like didn't even compute. So I'm like, okay, thanks. I guess I'll. You want their number so you can call them. Don't have cell service. So I'm like, no, it's fine. And he's like, no, well, okay. I just told him like I don't have cell service. He's like, oh, you want me to call him for you? I'm like, bro, just why are you charging me $80 a night to go sleep in some shit bed? Like, just let me sleep. I didn't say all that. I was just like, no, I think I got it. I'll go figure it out. So I left. At this point, my phone was getting pretty low. I'd like my phone to be working. It's also late, so that's great. I don't want to be here anymore. Right now again, I go to I go to the airport, right? Because I'm like, I'm not gonna spend $80 a night. Like I could theoretically, but yeah, I just like it's already halfway through the night anyways, and I'll just stay up essentially, or maybe find a comfortable bench to sleep on at the airport. And so went to the airport, found a place that would charge my phone. Hashtag Alaska Airlines, best airlines. Got a little wall plug-in. So I laid down, and yeah, now I'm here. It's been great, except all of it. Now I'm just waiting to go home. Hopefully I'll get to see Zoe again tomorrow. Yeah. Top 5. I don't know. I've had... this is probably top 5. I'm sleeping on the fucking floor. Outside. Next to an airport. Also, mosquitoes are everywhere in Alaska. In case you haven't noticed yet. Great time. Alrighty. Thank you all for watching and listening to my story. Guess flipped a mosquito off my phone. I hope you guys have a good one. Yeah. Bye.
Alrighty, so I'm back in Idaho. It's been like almost a week since that night. I just figured I'd give a bit of an update. So first of all, me and my girlfriend, well, we're now broken up. Just the differences in direction and having to like you shouldn't have to decide between your family and the one you love. So yeah, we're not we're not in a relationship anymore like that. So that happened. Not a lot else. I mean, I'm okay. She's okay. I'd really like things to have gone better, but such is life. I don't necessarily regret anything. I don't know, maybe, but yeah. Well, once again, thank y'all for listening and watching, and yeah, have a good one.